Good morning, everyone. As you might know already, supply chains are vulnerable to disruptive and sudden changes. The COVID-19 pandemic has shed light on the weak links in the supply chain, such as frequently changing costs, which need to be applied across the whole supply chain. Is there a way to dynamically mitigate such risks? The answer is yes. What if I tell you that with Rulex Factory, you can simply adjust the cost in a single point and they will be dynamically applied to the whole process? Hi, I am Dheeraj, Senior Customer Solution Specialist in Rulex, and today I'm going to show you how to take the stress out of changing cost in the supply chain. COVID-19 is still having a major impact on global supply chains, so they need continually to adapt quickly to respond to sudden changes. Without a high-level overview on what's changing, taking targeted mitigation actions is extremely challenging and costs can easily slip out of your control. Let's see how Rulex tackle this. Here is a standard SAP format dataset, where each row corresponds to base costs for producing and sending items from Italy to other European countries. In this simplified scenario, we have picked 6 basic types of costs associated to a product, but in a real supply chain, there could be more than 40 types of costs and things can get really complicated. We have already summed all these costs in the basic total cost column. However, these base numbers may fluctuate, often due to dynamic additional costs. For example, during the COVID-19 pandemic, packaging and quality control costs fluctuated, often due to changing legal requirements for additional procedures and checks related to hygiene. These costs, expressed as a percentage, are called overhead rates. As you can see here, we have already calculated the total cost with overheads by multiplying the basic total cost by the overhead rates. So far, so good. But what happens if costs fluctuate daily? For example, production and quality inspection may have higher overheads at weekends. With traditional methods, manually making these changes would be extremely time-consuming. So, now we are going to see how to apply these overhead rates according to the day of the week. We can import these overhead rates from a Microsoft Excel file. And now, filter them to apply only those related to the weekday in question. We now just need to compute the workflow, and the total cost with overheads calculation will be updated according to the weekday as defined in the MS Excel file. We can also export our results to a local file and monitor how overall costs fluctuate. In the Rulex control tower, we built a dashboard to monitor fluctuating costs. At the end of the week, we have a file for the whole period, and for each day, we can see the variance in the total cost with overheads. Now let's just focus on one product. In the first chart, we get a general cost overview for the entire week, and we can straight away see that the days in which we spend the most are Wednesdays and Fridays, while we spend the least on Mondays. In the first line, we see how costs in the United Kingdom are much higher when compared to the other countries. We can see there's a spike on costs on Friday and fluctuations on the other days of the week. But what can we infer from this problem? Which type of overhead costs have the highest impact? Let's have a look at the second chart focusing on the United Kingdom. We see a significant variation in the import and export costs on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Now we can clearly see which costs are having the greatest impact. Are there any practical actions we could take with this knowledge? Yes, we could. We could plan to perform import and export operations on the most cost-effective days, which on average are Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. These insights allows us to reduce costs and enable us to build robust supply chains. This kind of solution allows us to create flexible and resilient supply networks, enabling them to mitigate risk and relieve stress from such low-value tasks through intelligent process automation and decision making. That's it for today. Look out for our next Rulex Quick Fix video and follow us on our social channels. Thank you.